There was a time when you turned on the radio, and it hit you before you even knew the song. 20 photos today from that time. Some of these you've never seen. Let's go back. A few of these were taken when nobody knew yet what these moments would become. This is one of the last photographs ever taken of Jim Morrison. Paris, the summer of 1971. Morrison had gone there to write poetry, to rest, to step back from everything the Doors had become. He looks completely calm here, quieter than almost any photo from the years before. There's a child looking out from the window behind him. Morrison didn't know anyone was watching. 3 months later, Morrison was gone, 27 years old. 1979. Highway to Hell had just come out, and a CDC were finally breaking through after years of vans and small venues. Scott and Young had that kind of friendship you only build from years of struggling together. The kind where you don't need to explain anything. There's a photo later in this set that connects to this joy. When we get there, you'll feel it. Led Zeppelin in 1969 had been a band for less than a year. Plant was 20 years old. Page was 24. They were playing shows that people who were there still describe as the most overwhelming thing they ever witnessed. Plant and Page feeding off each other every night like they'd been doing it for 20 years. Something clicked between them that nobody could have planned. Fleetwood Mac during the Rumors years is usually described as a band held together by barely controlled chaos. Broken relationships, competing egos, everything falling apart, and somehow producing a masterpiece. What gets left out is the friendship between Nix and McVie. Two women who genuinely loved each other through all of it. McVie said Nix was the first real friend she'd made in a band. Did you have a friendship like that? The kind that survived everything? I always want to know. This is Janis Joplin and Big Brother and the Holding Company in rehearsal, 1967. No audience, no stage, just Joplin working. What strikes me every time I look at this is how focused Joplin was. How seriously she took the craft when nobody was watching. Joplin's Monterey Pop performance that year changed everything. But this is where that performance actually came from. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young rehearsing for their 1970 summer tour, which became one of the most successful tours in rock history. They almost canceled it twice before it started. Crosby and Young weren't speaking that week. Aerosmith, Boston, 1973. 5 guys sharing a single apartment, splitting groceries. 2 years later, sold out arenas. That fast. Pink Floyd in the studio, 1967. Barrett is still the center of everything. Still the one writing the songs, naming the direction, holding the whole thing in his head. I've read a lot of accounts of what those sessions were like, and I honestly still don't know if the band understood what was already starting to slip. I don't think they did. Wood and Stewart in the Faces. One of the great friendships in British rock. They'd been playing together since the late 60s and had the kind of on-stage chemistry that can't be manufactured. Stewart went solo in 1975, and Wood joined the Rolling Stones. They never made another record together. That always felt like an unfinished story to me. Halfway. The next 10 get quieter and a little more personal. And here's the thing that connects back to that Bon Scott photo. The joy of it. the pure, uncomplicated joy. New York, 1983. Three people at a party who collectively sold 500 million records. And in this moment, they're just having the time of their lives. That's the part that stays with me. Daltrey gets overlooked in conversations about great rock vocalists. The guitar heroes and the poets get the credit. But Daltrey sang Tommy. Daltrey sang Behind Blue Eyes. That voice deserved more. Thin Lizzy never broke America the way they should have. Lynott wrote songs about brotherhood, loyalty, the boys from the neighborhood. The kind of songs that should have connected with every working-class rock fan in the country. The Boys Are Back in Town got radio play. The rest of Lynott's catalog never got the chance it deserved. ELO's first album was described by one critic as the worst record of the year. Jeff Lynne took that review and spent the next decade proving exactly how wrong it was. Joy Division in 1979 had released Unknown Pleasures to almost no commercial response. A few thousand people in Manchester and Leeds had heard it. Curtis was 22 years old and writing songs that felt like they came from somewhere much older. I remember when music could do that, arrive quietly, and then turn out to be the most important record of the decade. Beck was one of the three guitarists who defined British rock in the 60s, alongside Clapton and Page. Beck never had a frontman who could match him. That's the gap that cost him everything commercially. 1975. Stewart had Atlantic Crossing in the charts and was one of the biggest names in rock. There was a specific feeling to that era. You'd see someone's face in Rolling Stone at the newsstand, and it meant something different than it does now. Fame had a different texture then, more contained, more earned. Shout at the Devil came out in 1983 and went platinum 4 times. The label had told them nobody wanted heavy metal with makeup. Nobody wanted it except 10 million people. The Incredible String Band played Woodstock, and almost nobody remembers it. They were scheduled before Jimi Hendrix, and a rainstorm pushed everything back. Their moment got buried. By most accounts, it was one of the most beautiful sets of the entire weekend. History is sometimes just a matter of timing. Tell me if you remember them. I never saw Queen live. Mercury was still performing through the mid-'80s, and I had chances I didn't take. I was young, money was tight. I kept thinking there'd be another tour. Mercury passed in 1991. There was no other tour. Every time I see footage from those shows, I feel it the same way, like something irreplaceable that I let go by. Don't make that mistake with whoever you love right now. Every one of these photos is a moment that felt ordinary when it happened. Nobody in any of them knew what it would become. Was there a concert you almost didn't go to, and then went, and it changed something? I always want to know.